The next phase for us is to allow the user to update the quantity. So right now, as you can see, we're displaying 1 because when we go here, such as a shop page button, and that add to cart button only allows the user to add 1. However, once we get to the cart page, this is the area where we want to give that user the opportunity to update the quantity. All right, so that's so let's go ahead and work on that. First thing we're going to do is to add a number input tag with an event listener. All right, so this number input tag, I'm going to show you documentation for this. All right, so it looks like this right here. So you see you have 2 toggles for incrementing and decrementing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this here. And in addition to that, what we're going to make use of is 2 attributes that which is the max and min. All right, so 2 attributes as well. So going back to the cart page, let's go. All right, so that is right over here where we displayed product count earlier, and we're going to paste in that input field and also add a / over here at the end of the input tag, otherwise you're going to get an error. And we don't need this ID, so remove that. For the value, we're going to add product.count. Save that. And as I mentioned, we're going to add 2 attributes. So the first one was the min. The min is going to be 1, and the max is going to be the amount of items that's available in the database for that specific item. So it's going to be product, and then product quantity. So going back here. All right, so we get an error. All right, so each child in the list should have a unique key. All right, so in the last lecture, when we were right here mapping over all cart items, we have to have that key attribute. So just add the key and do product._ID. All right, that should remove that error. All right, no problem. So we have you provided a value prop, form input. Okay, all right, we'll take care of this later, but don't worry about that now. That's gonna go away very shortly. All right, so that's the errors coming from here. All right, so we have everything we need here. Now the next step is to add an Onchange event listener, and we're gonna get the event, and we're gonna fire off a method called, or a function called, handle quantity change, and pass 2 arguments. So we're going to pass the event and also the product. If we save that, that takes care of the first phase here. And the final phase is to actually create the event handler. So going back to the top, we called it handle quantity change and passed the event and product. All right, so to start off our function, what we're going to do is we're going to have to grab the cart from the local storage. So we're going to do cart, and we're going to have a condition. First, we're going to check if the cart actually exists in local storage. Otherwise, it's just going to be an empty array. So we're going to do if local storage.getItem of the cart, then retrieve it. And we know that anytime we want to retrieve from local storage, we're going to have to parse it. So do JSON.parse, and then the local storage, get item, and the cart. Otherwise, if nothing exists, then set the cart to an empty array. Our next step is we're going to loop around this cart. So we're going to use a for each. and identify each cart item as cart item. I'm going to have a condition and check if the current cart item's ID is equal to the product ID that we passed in as an argument. If that is the case, then we're going to update the current cart items count property to be the event target value, and the event that's being passed as well as an argument. So that's how we have access to the event target value. At this point, what we're going to want to do is to update the local storage and Redux global state. So let's start off with the local storage. We're going to do local storage set item and set cart to be, and remember, anytime we're setting to local storage, we're going to have to convert it from the JavaScript object to a JSON format. So we're going to do JSON.stringify and then pass in the cart. And finally, update the Redux. So we're going to use dispatch, but we're going to have to retrieve it or import it. So do use dispatch here. And underneath this use selector, we're going to do dispatch, use dispatch. All right, now we have access to that method. So we were over here. So we're going to call dispatch, and the type is going to be add to cart, and this we're going to have to import as well. So go back to the top, import from, go back one directory, go into Redux, go to our constants folder, and then it's inside cart constants file, and that was called add to cart. All right, so the final property we have to add is the payload, and that payload we're passing is the cart. All right, save that, and everything should now work. So I want to expand this console here because I want to show you what we currently have in the local storage. All right, so you see we have 4 items in our cart, and if we look at the local storage here, we have 4 items. And if you look at the first item in local storage, that is pertaining to the veggie burger, and you see that the count indicates 1. Now, if we go here to the application, you see veggie burger, and if we try to update the quantity, let's update it at 3. You see we have 3, and going to the local storage, let's go back and check what its count is, and you see indeed it's now the correct amount, 3. Let's try pepperoni pizza. Let's update that. Let's do 6. All right. And if we go to the local storage for pepperoni pizza, that's this row here. And you see count is 6. All right. So that's working. All right. Another test I want to do is, let's see. All right. So this is it. Remember that we added 2 attributes as well, the min, right? So the min indicates we don't want the user to select any less than 1. So if we go here for the veggie burger, if I click decrement it, it doesn't allow me to decrement any more than 1. So it keeps it at 1. All right, final test is for the max. All right, so this max gives the user the opportunity to select no more than what's available in the database for that specific product. So in the case of this veggie burger here, let's take a look at what we have in the database. So I have my database here, and here's the veggie burger. All right, so here's the document for veggie burger, and it shows that the product quantity or the amount available in our inventory is 500. All right, so the user should not be able to select any more than 500. So let's go back to the application here, and for the veggie burger, and I'm going to right now I'm going to input, let's start at 490. All right, and I'm going to increment, and once I get to 499, I'm going to go to one more, 500. And remember that it shows that 500 is the max that we have available. So if I try to click any more than 500, that's where it stops me at. All right. So we see that that feature is now that feature works as well. All right. So everything's working now. Now we have the ability to increment or decrement the quantities here in our shopping cart. So the next step is I'm going to work on this cart summary, and that'll be that. All right, so that's it for now. I'll see you in the next lecture.